Hi everyone, I'm Jeanette Lenoir with ePluribusAmerica here with another edition of EPA Live. We have another great topic to discuss with my returning guest, Professor Joseph Mbele of Olaf College in Minnesota. Our topic of discussion today is an African American guide to the motherland. Thank you so much for joining me, Professor Mbele.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
having
me
me
again.
again.
Absolutely. The topic of Africa is obviously a very important one. We have, so much to discuss. People are on the move as we become a more global society. We really are seeing more options in front of us, especially African Americans. And one of those options is returning to the motherland. And during our last conversation, Professor Mbele, we talked about some of the cultural nuances and differences between African Americans and Africans, and basically, what to expect and what not to expect, and how we are very much different people. And this time, you have really a guide, a plan to offer those that are seriously considering taking the journey to the motherland, back to Africa. And of course, as you know, Africa has over 50 countries, so with many, many different languages. So this guide is going to be very useful to those that seriously want to make the move back to Africa. So thank you again for joining us. Tell us about this new guide.
Aha.
Uh-huh.
I would
I would
say
say
it's the
it's the
culmination
culmination
of
of
many
many
years
years
of
of
offering
offering
orientation
orientation
to
to
Americans
Americans
to go to
who go to
Africa.
Africa.
I've done
I've
this
done it
many
many
years.
years.
Different groups
Different group
of
of
Americans
Americans
going to
going to
Africa
Africa
to
to
study,
study,
to
to
volunteer,
volunteer,
to do
to do
business,
business,
to
to
visit.
visit.
They
The church
typically tell
tell
them
them
what
what
over there
over there
in terms
in
of the,
terms of
how
how
people
people
work,
work,
how they
how
eat,
they
how they
how they
think, um,
um
how they
how they
communicate
communicate
in general,
in general,
not just
not just
talking,
talking
but
but
communicating,
communicating,
whether it's by
whether it's by
gestures or whatever
or
it
whatever
is,
it is,
or by
or
doing
by doing
things or not
or
doing
not doing
things.
things.
Those are
Those
all
are all
communication.
communication.
And
And
I'm
I'm
able to
able
do
to
that
do that
because I'm
because
an
I'm an
African,
African,
born,
born,
raised
raised
in an
in an
African
African
community,
community,
um,
um,
and I've
and I've
many,
many,
many
many
years of
years of
experience
experience
with
with
Americans,
American,
many,
many
working decades.
decades.
Mm-hmm.
So I
So
know
I
what
know,
it is. And I think
and I
it's a
think it's
great
a great
honor and
honor and
privilege
privilege
to be in
to
that
be in that
position
home
because I
because
also
I
want
also want
Africans
Africans
to
to
understand
understand
America.
America.
And
And
so
so
we as of
we as of
doing this
doing
work,
this work,
plus,
plus
meeting
meeting
about these
these
issues,
issues,
I have
I have
published,
you know
I've written over the
written over the
years.
years.
One
One
is
is
Africans and
Africans,
Americans
Americans
embracing
embracing
cultural differences.
differences.
This one
This
here,
one here,
and
and
the recent
recent
one
one
is
is
called
the
chickens
chickens
us.
us.
It's a
It's a
sequel.
sequel.
That's right.
So
So
I
I
thought
thought
especially now that
now
I'm
that I'm
seeing the
the
stories of
stories of
the
the
migration
migration
of African
of
Americans
Americans
to
to
Africa,
Africa,
and I'm
and I'm
reading,
reading,
what
what
they
they
write
write
about
about
experiences in
experiences in
Africa.
Africa.
I'm
I'm
following them
following
on
them on
YouTube
YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and
and
hearing
hearing
their
their
testimony
testimony
about
about
challenges
challenges
they
they
face
face
there.
there.
And
And
again,
again,
as a
as a
cultural
cultural
consultant,
consultant,
I
I
can
can
see
see
the problem as
problem as
being
being
they
they
left
left
without
without
preparation.
preparation.
Mm-hmm.
They had
They had
not
not
done their
done their
homework.
homework.
And I
And I
see
see
that with their
their
situation
situation
because
because
people
people
who have
who have
invested
invested
everything
everything
they
they
had,
had,
they
they
built
built
their
their
house,
house,
they have
they have
done their
studies,
hoping
hoping
to start
to
a
start
new
a new
life
life
in
in
Africa.
Africa.
Yeah.
So
So
it has
it has
touched me
touched
to know
to
that
know that
there are
There are
certain
certain
things
things
they've
they've
done
done
and not
and
have
not have
to
to
face the
face the
problem
problem
they
they
face.
face.
So I
So I
decided
decided
to
to
write a guide.
guide.
The
The
title
title
of the
of the
guide
guide
to
to
address this
address this
issue. It's the
is the
combination
combination
of
of
many
many
years of
years of
working,
working,
but
but
now the
now
opportunity has
has
compelled me
compelled
to
me
write
to
a
write
guide.
about it.
And the
And
guide
the
puts
guide puts
together, the good
the good
things
things
that come
that
out
come
from
out
the
from
first work,
this work,
plus
plus
some
some
additional
additional
things,
things
which are
which are
specific to
specific
the
to
guide.
the guide.
And
And
there's also
there's also
some little
some little
videos.
video.
And I'm
And I'm
confident
confident
this is
this
going
is
to
going
help
to help
people.
people.
That's all I
That's
can
all I
do.
can do.
Yeah. Well, it won't hurt, that's for sure.
At
At
least,
least,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I want to ask you, so obviously no matter where you're going in the world, you got to be financially prepared. So how much would you say an average person would need to seriously start to make their way back to Motherland? And obviously we're talking about African Americans specifically. So how much would an African American person need to go back to Africa?
I
I
don't
don't
the
the
amount
amount
just and
and
inside
inside
what I
what I
insist
insist
is
is
somebody
we have
a
a
steady
steady
stream of
stream of
income.
income.
Some
Some
activity,
activity,
some
some
business
business
to
that
keep
keep
bringing
bringing
money
money
every month.
every month.
That is
That is
the
the
thing
thing
in my
in
view.
my view.
So they should line up a job first.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
And
And
It's
it's not
easy
easy
to
to get
get
the
in
job in
Africa.
Africa.
You can do
You
the
can do the
homework,
homework,
you
you
can do the
can do the
planning,
planning,
they can
they can
create
create
opportunities,
opportunities,
but they
but
need
they
to
need
make
to
sure
ensure
they
they
have
have
created
created
something
something
like
like
that
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 generates
generates
income.
income.
It is
It is
possible.
possible.
Now,
Now,
nowadays,
nowadays,
people
people do,
you know, they've
they've
created their
created
own
their own
job, they are
job, they are
entrepreneurs,
entrepreneurs,
they work
they work
online.
online.
Yes, they can be
They
in
can be in the
in Africa,
in Africa,
you are
you are
working for an
looking for an
American
American
company.
company.
Many people
Many
are
people
doing
are
that.
doing that.
In fact,
In
a lot
fact,
of
a
the
lot of the
African
African
Americans
Americans
are in
are in
Africa,
Africa,
but they've
but
worked
they've worked
online.
online.
So
So
the
the
reason
reason
I'm cautioning
cautioning
against hearing a
getting a
mountain of
mountain
money
of money
and
and
hoping this
hoping
will
this
be
will
okay,
okay,
my
my
sense is
sense is
it doesn't
it
matter
doesn't matter
how
how
big
big
that
that
mountain
mountain is,
is, it
it's
disappears very
disappeared very quick.
Yeah, yeah.
because
Because
again,
again,
some of the
some of
things
the
like
things like
you find
you
yourself
find
spending
yourself
too much money
much money
over there.
over there.
Um,
Uh,
you come
you
there
come there
as a
as a
stranger, and
and
you come
you
from
come from
America,
America,
and
and
everybody in the
everybody in
world
the world
thinks
thinks
Americans are
Americans are
millionaires.
millionaires.
So
So even
the
the
coconut
coconut
vendor in the
in the
marketplace
marketplace
will
will
charge you a
charge you
higher
a higher
price.
price.
They know you
They know you
cannot.
cannot.
They believe
They
you.
believe you.
So
Yeah.
instead
So
of
instead of
charging
charging you
$2,
$2, they will charge.
Yeah.
so
So
actually
actually,
servicing
servicing
goods,
goods,
things, you'll end
you'll
up
end up
careful
careful
paying
paying
higher
higher prices.
your
Your
amount of
amount of
money
money
will
will
disappear very
disappear very
fast.
fast.
That's why
That's
I
why I
really
really
think having a
having a
steady
steady
stream
stream
of
of
income
income
is the
is the
best
best
solution.
solution.
The
The
second thing,
second
of
thing, of
course,
course,
is
is
now
now
getting
getting
to
to
know
know
how
how
things
to
work in
work in
Africa,
Africa,
so that you
so
can
that you
reach a
can reach
point
a point
where you
where
no
you no
longer
longer
a foreigner.
foreigner.
You are
You are
connected
connected
with
with
people,
people.
they give
They give
you
you
a decent
decent
price,
price.
they
They
embrace
embrace
you, they give you
give
gifts.
you gifts.
That's the
That's the
long
long
goal.
goal
To
to
transform
transform
yourself
yourself
from being an
from being an
American
American
to
to
being
being
the
the
African
African
community.
community.
And that's a
And that's a
big
big challenge,
and we
and
can
we
talk
can
about
talk about
that.
that.
Yeah. Now, so to really immerse yourself into the culture,
Yes.
Yes.
you really have to, would you say, learn the language? I mean, should people
Uh-huh.
start learning Arabic because that's one of the main languages spoken there? Should
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
start speaking
Swahili.
Swahili? That's another
Yes.
language spoken there. But English is also pretty much
English
widely
is
spoken.
English is very common.
So what about language skills. So what would you advise about language?
English will take you very far in most countries. In some countries better than other countries. For example, Uganda, Malawi, Kenya, English is widely important. Tanzania, my country, is somewhat different. A lot of people English, but you are better in Swahili.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too many Tanzanians are proficient in English. Many are some kind of English, but if you're not Swahili, So if you go to many of these countries, they also have languages. That's the European languages.
Yeah.
So say you are in West Africa, they speak French.
Yeah.
But they also have African languages, such as Olaf. So you are American in Canada, you will probably have to learn French. I know a lot of people speak English as well. But if you speak Olaf, you talk immediately. That's very interesting. They see a their language. They are so excited. They embrace well.
Yeah.
Those are the things to do, impress them, to make them really welcome. And frankly, even that vendor will think twice before charging you a high price.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny you mention these vendors because, I'm from Suriname. And when I go back home, of course, they see me coming a mile away. But I'm a very tribal woman, and I speak my language fluently. And so when they see me coming, I always get, the foreigner prize. But once I start to speak my tribal language, they immediately, they're like, what?
Exactly.
And the price comes down, and I get freebies because they're so surprised that I speak the language. But then I'm like, listen, I was born and raised here. I know my language. I know where I come from. That's why I know who I am.
The African
yeah.
Suddenly the price. And they give us mango.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is safety and roads. So obviously, if you're going to, if folks are going to move there, they're going to need to either get a vehicle, find ways to get around, and also, worry about, maybe crime, or is it safe for them to really go there, and should they consider certain countries over others? Obviously, probably most people aren't going to rush to more war-torn country or countries in the middle of a conflict currently, but what would you say to African Americans who are considering Africa as a whole but don't really know where to pitch their tent? What would you say, considering all those factors?
There are many countries in Africa, and most of them are being poor. In fact, in terms of safety, generally, you are safer in Africa than in the USA. This one out very clear. Gain and the gain. Yes. I think the USA is one of the most safe countries I know. Yes. I'll say this. So there are a number of places where African Americans tended to go, and I guess part of it is historically. They came from Africa, like Ghana, Senegal, Gambia. And historically, that is where Momo came, maybe most. Of course, some from Nigeria, Cameroon. So there's a reason. But also the fact there has been, a stream of Americans growing. Of course, they wear the home, and they recommend, you should this country, and so word of takes over. So you have them to Gambia, West Africa. You have them South Africa, Tanzania, South Africa now. A lot of it is out. So people listen to the stories of us already there, and pros and cons, and in terms of safety, really over there. Look here, we don't have easier to gun. Guns are common. You cannot go gun in my country before. Less than tap where you live. Certify to the government that you are a reliable person, and they confirm that you need a gun, maybe do some hunting or whatever. It's the community. The community certified. As a result, we have very few people on our island.
I see.
Now, if I have to give a word to them, safe about it's small things like pickpocket.
Yeah.
You're standing in a crowded bus, and our bus is packed with people. So if you are in the bus, the pickpocket would be a big worry. Somebody shooting you or harming you. Petty crime. That's the word we use, right? Yeah.
I see.
But in terms of overall safety,
Now,
in terms of car, things, it's very easy. It depends on how you have, how much money you can spend. But getting a car, it's very easy.
No big. And the roads.
Another question.
Yeah.
The roads in the country, whether you are in the urban or rural place. If I take my country, for example, the government over the last 10 years is working very hard to pave the roads across the country.
Yeah.
So the highways are paved most of the way.
Okay.
However, and this is the truth, there are a lot of dusty roads in the rural places, especially with potholes. These are gigantic roads. Okay. So I'm making fun of you, but I'm telling you the truth.
I believe you.
It can be rough. I have to tell you. Yeah. But it's a lot also. It's a lot of adventure. Not pleasant.
But I'm sure there'll be people there to help guide you, or I'm sure you'll go and you'll find a sense of community. So I can imagine that not being such a difficult thing to overcome. Now, what about water? Sometimes when you pull up your stakes and decide to relocate, you can't just show up in any country and start drinking their water.
No, you don't.
So how would you advise folks about how to prepare for that?
I'm very surprised how things have changed. When I was growing in my rural areas, we have many streams where I come from. We have mountainous springs everywhere. There's water flowing, springs everywhere. Fresh water coming from deep in the mountain. You just go a cup, fetch the water with it. That's how I grew up. It was all great. Nowadays, sadly, you find
water everywhere.
Because
For some reason it's no longer
safe.
safe
Because
pesticides
that we use
in agriculture, fertilizers, pesticide, other poisonous things that come with what we call modernization.
the
The pollution. So nowadays, for example,
you can't
you can't just
start the
start the tap,
take the
take the water.
No,
We don't do that.
We do
We do
not
not do that.
Bottled
Bottled water, or you boil the water
and
and
filter.
filter it. This is sad
For those
for those of
who
us who are in a totally different, instances.
Yeah.
it is
It is a fact.
the
Yeah.
The water
safe
is safe
Yeah.
in most
in
Yeah.
most of the,
I would say.
I would say.
Yeah. How long is your course? Is it something? Is this a self-guided study course, or what should people expect when they purchase your study course? And how long is
It
it?
is self-guided. Yeah.
It is
It is self-guided.
Yes.
Yes.
You take
You
it.
take it. There's one topic,
And
and the first
topic
topic actually is
and I'm
addressing
addressing
African Americans.
this
This topic is
know
know yourself.
Yeah.
I'm
helping Americans
to
to recognize,
to
to
acknowledge
acknowledge
that
that they are
Americans.
Americans.
Mm-hmm.
They should
They should not
start
start
off
off
here
here
with
with the simple idea.
I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
a
a continent
where
where
everybody
everybody
our
will
feel
feel like
home,
home.
those
Those people,
let me
let me go
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
I am
I am
spending
spending
time
time
explaining
explaining this.
you
You
are
are
American.
American.
You need to
You need to take
stock
stock of that.
You need
You need
to
to acknowledge that
because
because
it will be
it will be
the
the
first
first task
when you are
when you are over there
to
to have
to
to
deal
deal
with
with
people
people look like you,
who are
who are not
like you.
like you.
Yeah.
And I don't
And I don't want to be
frustrated.
frustrated.
Uh-huh. So,
There's no
definitely
need in the
because
cause.
Yeah.
You
read
read
the
the
text
text
every
every time.
you
You listen to the
video
video
attached to.
attached to.
You are
You are okay
in terms
in terms of
getting
getting started
on this
on this
journey
journey of
knowing
knowing
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
Then
Then you go to another,
there will be
there will be
another
another
same
same
thing
thing
and
and
video.
video.
Then there's
Then there's another.
it is
It is self-guided.
That's the
That's the
phrase you
you
use.
use. Yeah,
I
I think of that.
I see.
It's not very
It's
long.
not very long.
Not very
Not
long.
very long.